everyone, welcome to another episode of Blindside of Friday. And as the nights are drawing in and winter is upon us, they're very much going to be inside, I think, for the foreseeable. So another different backdrop for you, bit of tartan curtains. This week I have got a pre-label bottle for you. I'll try to bring this close so you can have a look. This is from little Pomona, and the reason there's no label on it is because I did a swap of Pét Nats with James and Susanna a few months back, well before lockdown. And actually, if they're watching this, you need to let me know what you thought of mine. But I'm going to tell you what I think of yours in a second. So they kind of gave me a bottle before they got the labels printed. I think they were like, a couple of days away when we met up. So if you see there's a few bottles left on the internet in various places, but they're sold out of Little Pomona. The label is really classy and very well designed. But I've got a one of a kind here. So this is their Pét Nat Kingston Black single variety. Had Little Pomona on here before, so I won't tell you about them because you'll know. And when James gave me this and Susanna, they said it's a little bit more Pét than Nat, and I think they're right, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But Kingston Black, great bitter sharp variety, hailed as probably the king of all cider apples because it's kind of a well balanced fruit. I wrote an article with Adam Wells on malt a few months ago about the Kingston Black. Unfortunately, this wasn't released when we wrote that because I'd love to have added that to the lineup and taste it. But have a read that article if you want to know a little bit more about the apple. It's a really fascinating one. I'm on the fence about it a little bit, whether I think it's the greatest of all, but let's see what we think of this one. So, colour. Beautiful gold, slight little haze there from the bottle conditioning activity that's been going on. Why he said more Nat than Pét was that it didn't really get the fizz that they were expecting. And when I popped the lid, there's a little sound, but not much. And when I poured it, the bubbles were really, really gentle. So it's going to be like just off still, just a little something to lift it. So let's see if that helps with the nose. Now, Kingston Black I think is quite a distinctive apple, and there's kind of a like tropical citrusy acidity that you get on the nose with it, and that is there. This has been barrel fermented, so it's fermented in a white burgundy barrel. I think it had Chardonnay in it before, but I could be wrong. And that has obviously influenced the aromatics, and it gives it like a bit of stone fruit, like apricot, or maybe nectarine, and then in the background this kind of spirit, like I think it smells a bit alcoholic. And that is sometimes characteristic of Kingston Black, actually. It's a stronger smelling fruit, if that makes sense. But then there's this kind of ripe apple skin, and it just smells really fresh, actually. So let's have a taste. It's really, really juicy. It's 2019, and it was bottled in March this year. So it's not very old. Which is what you'd expect for a Pét Nat. But it's so fruity. It's all there, what I just described a few minutes ago. So there's that apricot, that stone fruit, that kind of citrus acidity, but I think that fermentation in the barrel has really kind of mellowed that out. And then the oak from the barrel has kind of given it a bit of, I think it's like vanilla. Yeah, it's like a gorgeous kind of, if you think of a French patisserie dessert, like caramelized apricots and vanilla custard. There's elements of that going on in there. It's really, really smooth, really well balanced. When I've had Kingston Blacks before, I think sometimes the acidity overpowers the tannin a little bit, or it seems to shine through a bit more, whereas this has kind of meandered into each other and just kind of sat happily. If that makes sense? I'm really enjoying this, and I'm going to quite happily sit and maybe share a little bit later. So thanks James and Susanna for sharing with me. Feel very lucky to have the handwritten label. And yeah, cheers to all you watching. Cheers to the weekend.